Good evening, comrades. This is part 3 of the snare of the fowler. And we're in parts 1 and 2, we're kind of talking about a lot of the circumstance situations that face our black men, our black African men, that cause them to have to make very serious choices that could really take away their freedom, or it could cause them to have an early death, premature death, or it caused them to be destroyed one way or the other, spiritually and physically. So we're in a battle. We're in a real battle, and we have those who do not have our best interests at heart. So we have to many times fight our own battles and fight our own struggles, and we have to try to keep God with us. Not the kind of God that was preached to the slaves that tell you to stay and endure hardship and vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, I shall repay. We're not going down that path right now. There comes a time, the book of Psalms is all about lament. Ecclesiastes, these different books talk about men crying out, save me, to God. Help my wretched soul. Not just from your own sins and your vices, but against the snare of the fowler, the enemy that tries to close in on us. And we were just talking about how the enemies of the psalmist here in Psalms 124, verse 3, talk about they would have swallowed me whole when my enemies come against me, swallow me alive. And we talk about that viciousness that the system may have against our men. And so in many instances in life, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to make poor choices. And in many instances, we're going to make wise choices. But even if we make wise or bad choices, even if we do evil or good, there still is that system that is not looking out for your total best interest. And you have to be twice, 3 times, 4 times a soldier, 4 times a man to try to straddle and to try to keep yourself from harm's way. And this is not an easy walk. It's not a walk. So I said that these were geared towards the black African male, these topic here, right here. And the woman, we will touch on how the woman should support that, but we are losing brothers in the battle. We're losing them. We're going to lose people in any kind of battle. When you go out to battle, there's risk. When I say battle, I'm talking about just fighting the fight that we have to fight. We're losing people. We're losing them. They're not just under 6 feet under. We're losing them and giving up on hope. Going into a life of crime, going into the dark world, thinking that they can get some alleviation from that. And that's another kind of hell that compounds the situation. It's a bad situation. We got brothers with money, celebrities, we got all that. They can't do anything for their people. They're castrated. They can only do things that promote. When I say only, if they try to do something that pulls their brothers up out of thing, it's taboo. It's taboo, and chances are the insecure ones are going to come after you. They're just going to come after you because you can't do that. I was in a school teaching one time. I decided to go down to the lower levels of when I say lower, the primary grades, the young ones, just before they go to pre-K. That's what they call it, pre-K. And I decided to do some assisting there because that schedule was the shift schedule was better for my other work that I had to do when I was doing counseling. And I also had some other obligations to the family that I had to be there at a certain time. So I took this primary, this job with pre-K youth, and I wasn't the main teacher or nothing because I wanted to do that. Group is a challenge for me in the sense that it's so meticulous, and I would just go in there to support the staff there. And I supported a female staff there, and it was a great rewarding experience for the time that I was there. But when I got ready to try to administer redirection and discipline too, when I say discipline, I'm just talking about taking one Hispanic and one black African male, and I think maybe one European male. I think I had given them a consequence of 5 minutes, or maybe 3 to 5 minutes out of their playground time. And man, this one lady, she was a white female, seemed like she didn't like men. And she had previously fired the principal, which was a white male. She fired him. And he was trying to, build his staff up. I don't know the particulars of that, but I think he had spoken out against some collaboration that was inappropriate with staff, and being involved with a male and a female at the same time, some kind of bisexual stuff that was going on in the administration, and he said something about it in a meeting, and I guess that got him taken out of his job. So I was there coming in and doing some assistant. I just know that he wasn't there when I came back. So sometimes my assignments were cut up, so I'd come back, and so he wasn't there. So this same director that had gotten rid of him had clashed with me because I gave the young man a consequence, because I know that in 4 years' time, 5 years' time, these boys are going to have some problems in the system. So I'm trying to keep these boys safe by giving them some redirection discipline, that when I tell you to line up or get ready to go out to the playground, and you want to sit up and play, and you don't have the discipline to follow those instructions, then I'm going to redirect you. I'm going to do that. I've done that for years in counseling, working in stress centers, working in hospitals. So I knew what I was doing. And I also had their little formal education in it, all the way up to the graduate level. So I'm just working in a position that doesn't even require just for the high school degree. I was just doing it just for the schedule that it gave me. It wasn't about the money. And then I was able to see these boys, knowing what the challenges are that they're going to run into when they get in their teens and their 20s, adolescent. I know. So I'm going to get on them because I love them. But she told me to back off of them. She told me to back off, leave them alone. She saw me with my unk, and I'm not bringing in Afrocentric in there, but it was just a spirit that was fighting me. And there was only 2 in the whole school, 2 black males, including myself. One was a physical education teacher. He didn't say anything. He had dreads and all that, but he didn't say anything. He's cool. He's, stayed in mind his own business. But me, I'm trying to correct these boys, and you're going to come in and tell me that I can't do it. We don't punish here, is what she said. I don't punish the boy. I give him a consequence for not following the direction. Everybody else was in line. They need to fall in line too. I'm going to take 5 or 3 minutes of your playground time. You will sit up and you will stand with me at the fence while everybody else is playing, and then I will release you to go into. She clipped me in front of all the teachers that were walking in the hallway, and in front of my own teacher that I was working with, and there was a person there that worked with deaf children, and she's a white female also. So I'm working with these 2 white females, and then I have this one white female director who's not a principal of the school because she fired him. So she was coming in and out, overseeing the place, and she jumped on me As soon as she snuck up on me. I felt that she was going to do that, but she snuck up on me. And you know, the thing that I have to say when you get a Negro that wants to talk about is racism still going on and is racism alive, I'm telling you that it's very much alive and is very much against the black man. Because your presence is strong in there. You give those boys good direction to look up to you. There's no other black male for them to look up to. Even the white boys can look up to you because you're doing right by the youth. You're looking out for their best interests. A little white boy get out of line, I get in his tail too. I get on him too, just like I get on that Hispanic and that black boy. Don't make no difference to me. But you got an overseer like this that doesn't look out for the best interests of your children, and that don't care about them, and that knows that them boys are being an attachment and entrapped. They call it what? Pipeline from the school to the prison or something like. Man, these boys are being set up for failure, and they stop guys like what I did, and get me, and they removed me from the entire township because I challenged her and I told her that I'm going to give them redirection because that's what they need. And they removed me from the entire township. That's the only township out of 10, 15 townships that I served. And I was always requested by all schools that I lend my services to. I was the preferred staff. They wanted me to come on full time there, but this director didn't like us giving these kids instruction. You can't run boys like you do little girls. These boys got testosterone. That's a whole different, what's the word I want to use? Chemistry that's going on there. So anyway, that kind of situation. So I was removed from that, not only from that position, but I was removed from the entire township because I took it to the superintendent, who was a black man, who evidently sided with her, and they just said, they knew they couldn't do nothing about it. They knew I was right, and when I made my complaint. But instead of them doing it, they just blocked me. But I was able to teach at all other places. See? And it was secretly done to the point where I realized that those options didn't come up on my choices. So I had to question the people who put me out there in assignment. Why was I taken off? So these are kind of things that they do underhandedly. Then you have to go to litigation in court to try to prove it. And then you're seeing that they not letting you have access to your young men, but that they let the boys run amok. So when the boy is a teenager, he's not controllable, and hopefully he's getting disciplined back at the house. So I'm just saying that these are the things where they get in the way. And that's why I think our young men need to be separated from these type of institutions, because they're just, look at the results of how many of them are in trouble. Now, we have a lot of them in college. We have a lot of them making it past these things. But they still seem to be, if they get caught up into something, it still seems to take away a lot of their life when they get in trouble. And we can't afford for them to get in trouble, not even a small matter, because it almost like destroys their whole life, because they're not interested holistically in preserving these boys. They don't love them like we do. They can't serve them like we can. So I just think it's a conflict of interest overall, that we're trying to sit up and have a life with people who don't love you, who don't care. And I just think it's a waste of time. And I think we should start doing our own thing. And whether we separate, however we do it, we need to get some of these people out from over us, because they don't care. And we're going to be the ones that suffer in the long run when it's all said and done, because we followed them and some of these people. And I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm talking about, I shared that situation. And this is part 3. I'm going into part 4 of this, and we're going to get back to this Fowler. So anyway, peace, love, God bless you.